If you have ever run an ad, watched it get views, and then killed it because it wasn't working, this video is for you. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you why that ad was probably working exactly the way it was supposed to, and why the mistake wasn't the ad. It was what you did right after the ad. I've watched the same thing happen to my own ads. I run a $5 a day ad to build an audience. Look, I'm a flipper also. I know how busy our schedules are. You're either at a job site, you're worrying about a hard money loan, the clock ticking on your hard money loan, or you finally are able to carve out some time to run an ad and you want it to work fast. Someone sees it, but you don't get a message right then. You check the numbers a few days later to see that it didn't convert, and you assume the ad failed. So you killed it. You write a new one, you run that instead, and then you repeat this process over and over and over. Most flippers try running fresh ads to cold traffic over and over again, hoping that the next one is going to land better and is going to get better results. The problem is the person who saw the first ad and they didn't act. You just told the platform to stop showing anything to a person like that. You assume the ad wasn't working. What happened is the person who saw it at 11 p.m., they were scrolling, they were in the middle of something else. They needed to see it again before they could really react to it. You didn't have a broken ad, you had an unfinished conversation. That is exactly why retargeting ads exist. And it's simpler than it sounds. You didn't need a new ad. You needed to keep showing the same message to the same people. People who had raised their hand and were watching. That's step one. You let the original ad run long enough to build a warm audience. Anyone who's watched 50% or more of that ad, you're adding them to an audience. Also to the people who had visited your page. Step two is you build a second ad specifically for that group of people. This is not to a cold audience anymore, but this message that assumes they have already know who you are. So step three, you let that second ad run to the same warm group for at least a week before you touch anything. I know you're going to be tempted to get in there and try to mess with it, but let it run at least 7 days before you touch anything. You're finishing what the first ad started. This works because most flippers give up on interest right when it's forming, not when it's gone. Next time you're tempted to kill an ad because it's not working, check whether you ever showed that same person a second message. That's usually the real answer.